Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our Indy. This is Captain April, and these are the days of our Indy.
Okay, well, summation, at least for now, based on well, again, I'm building on what I've already decided anyway, but based on the discussion Saturday, on Saturday, between Rosetta and Fatal and me. Let's back up here and look at what we got here, Indy. You have an established brand that you've built up over 10 years now. Really over 10 years, going back to the fitness model stuff, when you build them into the porn stuff. And in that time, you managed to make quite a name for yourself, both good and bad. Partially with that attempted feud with Belle Delphine, which did not help things. Going off on some kind of, I don't know what, I'm not sure the point you're trying to make, but posting the N-word over and over to a black content creator, trying to show the double standard. Oh yeah, you can say but there's a double standard because it's because of what history. You and I cannot say that word with impunity, especially not to black folks, unless you personally know them and they tell you, hey, go ahead and say it from me. I don't give a shit. But no, you didn't have that, and yeah, you're now branded as a white supremacist in some areas. I don't think you are. I think it's just your stupid, smart mouth getting away from yourself. But in that time, again, you built quite a fan base, and you've also got quite an enemies list. People, you're known now. You're very well known. You can't start over. It's gonna follow you, okay? Even if you come up with a whole new name, hey, that's that indigo white weirdo, So you're stuck with you, okay? The thing. That's one part of our argument to the court is we're both public figures. We're kind of, we're not immune from this kind of thing. You more than me, okay? Your profile is a good deal higher than mine is, so guess what? It may be Z-list celebrity, but it's still on the list. And you garnered a lot of attention. Like I said, Rosetta was getting flack about you from trans people she knows without knowing I had anything to do with it. So your reputation precedes you, for good or ill. Ideally, getting back on Pornhub would be good as far as getting your brand built back up. If there is some way of rebuilding that brand and getting better control of what is put up. Because I know the big contention was the videos of you and Ty didn't want them up there anyway. And actually on that, you could nail them on that. The fact that they refused to take them down at your request repeatedly, you can nail their asses to the wall. Because that falls into revenge porn shit. It's like, and that's why most sites, if you ask them, they'll take it down. It's not worth the hassle. They get enough stuff voluntarily sent to them, that they don't need to do stuff that, non-consensual, stuff that you don't want up. It's easy to just take it down and be done with it. But the fact that they didn't, you can nail their asses. Have your lawyers work on that. Instead of they're wasting their time on me. But that's down the road. As far as what to do now. Like that one comment that thankfully I preserved because, he's trying to cover his tracks, so he deleted it. But let me see if I can call this back up here. Let's get this on the record in more ways than one here. I'm going to have it pinned for now so I can keep track of it. But like I said, this person said, I've posted about this in public, but I'll try it again because people don't want to believe the truth. This is a guy, I'm some name. I recognize the name when he was presenting me. It's like, so this is the loss of Pornhub income plus my support was approximately $53,000 per year. That's just what he was doing and what the Pornhub. Past 3 years has been covered because of that, not subscriptions. Crying, laughing thing. You've been living on Fantasy Island if you didn't know who was paying the bills. No new filming scheme is going to make up for that. This is the new normal. So, what we need to do is figure out a way around this and at least get back to something viable. Unless there's a change of heart at Pornhub, and I'm not counting on that because you burned that bridge pretty thoroughly. And they joined in with a helping dose of napalm. The glory days are over on that front. You've been banned from too many sites now, Pornhub being the biggie. And, hold on.
6.5 hours later.
Yeah, the glory days are over with, I think. That's because by this point, I've been banned from ManyVids, my free cams, and now Pornhub is the big one. That's gonna follow you. Whatever reason they put out, they're gonna be able to put a thing is because you went on this trans thing and pissed off a lot of people, and they started calling for your head. There's no two ways about it on that one. I mean, they could complain about you needed, got a license for these videos, and she didn't want those videos because, again, they can be nailed on that one. The fact that you had a bunch of videos you wanted taken down, and they wouldn't take them down. You can sue them for that, and I suggest you do. Nothing else for lost wages on that one. But you're stuck with your brand. That's it. You are stuck with it. You've been at it too long. You got too much of a profile. And I've been sent links to people that have been documenting. They've been keeping receipts. Shit, going back to the Tumblr days and going on forward. And it's like, it's like, yeah, she used to be perfectly normal. Then she, figured, oh, these troll lords are getting away with the shit. I'm going to try it myself. Get some attention. Well, you got attention, all right. And it seemed you were finally starting to live that down. And you had kind of built up a bit of a, online image as, girl next door, gamer girl, got issues, but she's dealing with them, goddammit, and she's gonna, she wants to help others deal with them too. And you're getting older, you're coming up on 27, and you seem fine with it. Gonna transition to doing older, cosplays, the kinky stepmom instead of the stepsister type of thing. The frustrated wife type thing, the secretary, And then, a year and a half ago, something snapped. And I think, on top of your laundry list of issues, which you've already well documented yourself. I'm not telling tales out of school. I think also the simple fact you're there staring down the barrel of 30. Which means that's it. Childhood is now officially over. They say about 25%, but you don't really hit that thing until you hit 30. But I think that's it. It's done. There's no going back at this point. And a lot of people, it affects even just normal people. It's a kicker. So I can imagine what it does. We've already got a boatload of anxiety issues, and then, we're also turning 30. Why do you think the 27 Club exists? Well, all these rock stars who died because same thing. They saw it coming to the end and went out in a blaze of glory. For the most part. Some of them is just like Cass Elliott's just her heart just gave out on her. She was actually doing very well, very happy. And I think if she hadn't died, she'd still be kicking ass today. But you're gonna have, I think it's a case of, Peterman may be a psychotic jackwagon, but in this case, he's not wrong. You need to get back to basics. What worked? You want to build back up, you got to get back to that. And I think before you do that, you need to recognize a few things, okay? This is reality, calling Indy. Enough with the delusional plays, the deep dive cosplay of being a boy. You're not a boy. You're not a girl. You're a woman. You're a grown-ass adult woman looking down the barrel of 30 right now. Now, I think part of that is sinking in. The fact you're now finally talking about buying a house. Something you should have done about 5 years ago, probably. When you were really rolling it in. And also, then get your mom in on this one. Because one, I'm pretty sure she's not going to charge you a commission. But also make sure that your ass is covered. Something goes weird in this relationship, which I'm willing to bet money on it will. Money will destroy normal relationships. So what do you think it's going to do to yours? Mm-hmm. Especially since it's your money. Unless he's some retired rock star, it's your money you're dealing with, not his. So you need to cover your ass big time on this. But you're going to have to pretty much build back up, but with what you got. And again, first thing is acknowledging you're a woman. You always will be. Doesn't matter what you inject in or what you chop off, you're always going to be a woman. So lean into the reality for a change, okay? You'll find it a bit more comforting. Don't be, trying to convince anybody. No, I'm not. No, you are what you are. There's no misgendering when they call you ma'am or late miss, okay? It's objective reality. The only one that has a problem with it is you, who are lost in la la land and need to come back. You didn't used to be this way, Indy. Come on. Come on back, all right? Once you can do that, I mean, even, look at the Marcus D, the genuine transsexual. He's kind of thing, to reclaim that old, it's an old term, but it's like, this is what's going on. The transsexuals versus transgender nonsense. He had, again, serious gender dysphoria, and that's a real thing. To the point where he had to go to surgery and the hormones and hysterectomy and all this stuff. Not doing bottom surgery. Again, that's personal choice, but also I draw the line. No, that is a whole nother level. If you don't want to do that, no, that's dealing with internal plumbing and stuff and rendering yourself totally useless in either way, really. Because, phalloplasty, it's like it's just a lump. You're lucky if you can pee through it and the things don't go wrong. Because I've seen something like it turns into a lawn sprinkler, starts leaking all over the place. There's no need for it. It doesn't. And again, this also goes back to up until during Thanksgiving, you were adamant. You were not going to go on hormones. You didn't want the effects. You didn't want to mess up your features or your voice. You didn't want that look. Now, once the boyfriend moves in, suddenly you're all for it. Which again begs the question, who's pushing this, Indy? This is not a gradual transformation. You were being pushed by people who do not have your best interest in heart. Otherwise, they would not be pushing this stuff to destroy you. You know what this shit's going to do to your health and your looks and your everything. And the thing is, it still won't change a goddamn thing. You'll still be a woman. You'll just be a horribly mutilated and constantly in pain one. Now, I'd like to try and get you off of this particular bit of the crazy train and stay consistent with where you are now. At least you're healthy, more or less. Exception for the food allergies, but you're still in relatively good health. Let's try and keep that. We can work on the the mind can be you don't want to lose your health, And again, I think like I said, Rosetta and Fader were looking at the videos. You're not a D. You're not a D cup. You're between a C and a D. Which I think also goes to the fact you've never probably been properly fitted for a bra. Which probably set up a little thing here. But I think also it's more deeper. Is that once you settle on this thing that I'm not a girl, well, they've got two big reminders sitting right there in your chest as a reminder, yes, you are. And that's why you hate them so much. They're your two constant reminders of objective reality. You are a woman. You're a female. And there's no getting around that. That's why you hate your tits. But you don't hate them that much. You still, flash them and, do them around. So it's not gender it's not gender dysphoria you're suffering from. Not majorly, at least. You've got a little bit of gender confusion going on because of what you're trying to do here. Your little method-acting deep dive cosplay of being a boy doesn't work. And the fact that you're able to go to the Renaissance Festival in that gown and the long wig all day without a major freak out and do a video in that same outfit, and out of that outfit. But you had to do that, cosplay and the whole thing. It's like, you're not trans. You're. This is why people should not be allowed to diagnose themselves in the military. One, because you weren't. If you were capable of doing that, you wouldn't be in therapy in the first place. Because your mind is messed up in the first place. That's why you're in therapy. Therefore, you do not have the capability of diagnosing this yourself. You're working with faulty equipment. Okay? Does this make a little sense here? You're in no position. You're not objective. So you're an objective observer. No, you're not. You don't have enough of the traits there. And again, I've been studying this for about 50 years off and on throughout childhood. I wonder, why does someone do this? How does this work? And like I said, the big thing was this documentary in the 70s, but I was even interested in this. That's why I watched it in the first place. Because of the subject matter. It's like, talking about gender change and the weirdness that happens, It's a very wide thing of things that happen. Like I said, the village in Mexico. They don't know why, but it's like, at least not back then, but it's like, for some reason, little boys were born, the stuff didn't drop. But the midwives would feel, yep, it's there. If they're about 12, they'll pop out, but until that point, they're raised as girls. And then when, boom, suddenly, the twig and berries chop out, okay, now you're a boy. And it's perfectly normal for that village. It's weird, but they've adapted. But they also followed this guy going through, to go to a transition. This is back in the 70s, where it had to be clinically diagnosed, and you had to go through a bunch of hoops. And the old thing, going to Sweden, was a euphemism for getting the sex change operation. And he was working in an office, and the crew there asked, this guy's co-workers what they thought of it. The guys seemed okay with it, like, hey, whatever, The female co-worker was horribly offended. Like, he thinks she just put on a dress and thing, and one, he's never had a period. He thinks he knows what being a woman is. He has no freaking clue what being a woman is. And that stuck in my mind all this time. Like, no, there are certain experiences I will never know. I'll understand a lot of it, but I'll never truly know what it's like to go through that. By the same token, there are certain things of being a boy you will never understand because you didn't go through it. And you never will. Again, it's pretty easy to understand because we don't really fundamentally change all that much. It's like testosterone kicks on, we get a little more aggressive, we get horny, we get hairy, we get bigger. But there's no real fundamental mental change all that much, Girls, on the other hand, it's a major metamorphosis. It changes a lot, going through that. And again, also the male and female brain. You say you have a male brain. No, you don't. Trust me, you do not. I've seen enough of your thinking process. You do not think like a guy, okay? Guys can compartmentalize very easily. It's part of the hunter. It's like focus, block out everything else except mammoth we know to kill to eat, Lana we want to zug, that sort of thing, There's very little interconnectedness here, between the left and right brains. Women, it's so interconnected it might as well be the same, just one big lump. But guys, it's like no, it's very separated, It's like this one guy talking about, we have something called the nothing box, where we can just go in there and just nothing. We're out. We're just chilling out. We're on standby. It's like Jeff Foxer that said, "Go there. What'd you think about it? Nothing. We're not being evasive. We're not being joking. We're serious. Nothing. We can do that. We can just sit down and just zone out. That's what like what was it? Dead dogging on the flames. Just sort of zone out and barely even notice what's going on. And how many women could do that? Not many. And I doubt you can't. But Indy, you need to get the brass tacks here, okay? And even when you did, the second day, when you went as the elf thing, it's still very much your girl, okay? If anybody thought you were a boy, they thought you were a teenager. But even then, close look, the facial features is very feminine. So I am pleading you get off this thing before you really hurt yourself and really screw yourself up. Once you get to, you finally come to terms with who and what you are, really. And how all the surgeries in the world is not going to change that. And how many weird chemicals they pump into your system to screw up your biology. It's never going to change the fact that you're a woman. That is the cold, hard fact. You need to come to terms with that and learn to live with it and love it. Because I guarantee you, if you weren't one, you wouldn't be in this position in the first place. You wouldn't have gotten this far. Okay. If you were a guy, you'd still be back home, working Taco Bell probably. Okay. But once you actually come to terms with reality and what you are, then figure out what you want to do here. Do you still want to do the porn? I imagine you might still, we got it established, Let's start building back up and start trying to repair your reputation here. And ignore these idiots you've got clustered around here cheering you on towards jumping off that cliff to see a splat. But and again, if your fiance is pushing this, get rid of him before he kills you. I'll tell you what's going to happen. You finally do get that first shot of testosterone in there. It's going to be a massive, and well, let's see. One, it'll feel probably really good because testosterone is a major stimulant. But along with that will be your aggression will shoot up. Your libido will go nuts for a while. I mean, it's already through the roof of there, but you imagine supercharging it from there? You'll be humping the furniture. But also, again, the aggression will shoot up. Now it's like you get in a fight now, it's like that will get violent. You won't just want to, try and win the argument. You'll try and kill him. Because you're not accustomed to dealing with this stuff, A lot of guys aren't, we grow up with this stuff in our systems, okay? We have problems, but you imagine, you suddenly out of nowhere, he puts the toilet paper wrong on the toilet paper, they're all pointing the wrong way, and it'll be a homicidal rage, And I just hope one of the dogs doesn't set you off and something happens there. So it ain't worth it. Again, you said you don't want these features. Why are you doing this? That's what's baffling out there. The only thing is you're trying to, please this bozo you've gotten engaged to. Again, if he's trying to get you to rewrite your entire biochemistry, that's not love, Indy. He should love you the way you are right now, okay? Not come in and look at you as a fixer-upper, Oh, yeah, we do this and this and that. No, bullshit. He's trying to get you to totally rewrite your physiognomy. Get him the hell out before he kills you. Or more directly, before what he does ends up you trying to kill him. Like I said, up until now, everything you've done so far can be walked back. But you start going this thing, and even just starting, because again, the testosterone, the moods, that. But when it starts doing the physical stuff, first thing out is probably going to be the body hair. It's going to go nuts. You're not going to be able to keep up with it. And along with that is you'll start growing a beard. You don't want that. You said that very clearly. You don't want that. You think it's disgusting. And so the reason your hair is not that thick to begin with. Well, it's going to go a lot thinner. Because one of the effects of testosterone, it starts attacking hair up here. That's why you got this up here. See, it is. That's the testosterone. That's the trade-off. And the thing is, when this happens, that switch is thrown. There's no walking that back. You get off at that second, go on to estrogen again to balance it out. Too late. You will be dealing with the body hair for the rest of your life. And I've already seen, he let out a photo set out there where you kind of forget to shave the pits, and like, ugh, that is a little disgusting. I mean, I'm pretty lax on the idea of just, whether, gals shave their pits or not, but when it's stubble, it's like, ugh, that is kind of, revolting. Either let it grow out or keep it shaved. But I'm surprised you let that out. It's the thing. Your quality control is slipping, dear. Okay. But you need to come to grips with reality, okay? Before it bites you in the ass. And it will. If you really keep going this road, eventually it's going to wind up. It's like, well, no, it didn't work. And now I've not only am forced to face the fact that, yes, I'm a woman, but also I have chopped off my tits and totally fucked up my physiognomy. Because you really start going down the road, it's like you're going to, it's going to start trying to redo your bones. Make them bigger and then you're not, it doesn't work. Your frame is, it's going to be trying to put, oversize your bones. It's going to hurt every joint. Again, spine, knuckles, everything, every joint is going to start hurting because suddenly the bones don't fit. It's trying to make them bigger. And it gets to the voice, that also, it doesn't, I don't know what these idiots think is going, I just got to vocal over. You know why it's getting a lower voice? Because you're crushing the vocal cords. You want to start going to Let's Sound Like Dr. Girlfriend on the Venture Brothers? And again, there's no walking that back, okay? That damage is permanent. Because along with the crushing it also, that pretty much goes your control of the voice. So there goes your singing voice. And I know you like your singing voice. You got a very good singing voice. But say goodbye to the Taylor Swift tunes. You'll be lucky to do Josh Turner stuff, okay? Or Josh Groban. And when it starts attacking your reproductive organs, that's going to make your menstrual cramps seem like a walk in the park. Because, estrogen is kind of a key component in those things. It doesn't just produce it, it kind of thrives on it. It's a big component of it. And you start flooding it with testosterone, it starts attacking it. So you get the vaginal and uterine atrophy. They are dying at that point. And it hurts. Bad. Like someone shoved a rotor-rooper up your cooch and turned it on high. That kind of pain. Okay? Like at that point, your fiance there will legitimately fear for his life because you will be ready to kill somebody. And the only remedy for that one, if you catch it in time, is probably go on a massive dose of estrogen to reverse the damage. But even then, I think a lot of it's going to be damage done. Because as far as because besides the uterine damage, it's going to be, vaginal atrophy, which, thinning of the vaginal walls, tearing of things. Like, say goodbye to throwing these big dildos the size of your forearm up there. You'll be lucky to get a normal size one. And if the clitoris starts overgrowing, it doesn't go back down. There's no going back under the hood at that point. It's going to be sticking out because it's going to be permanently oversized. So, yeah, it's like you don't want to even start this trip, okay? Even the starting point's the stuff you don't want. The end point you really don't want. Especially not if you want to keep continuing doing what you're doing, because it'll make it impossible. It'll destroy your sex organs completely. It's like, yeah, there's a niche market for everything, but it's like the point was like you're not gonna get any money out of it. No, you want to make this venture viable again, you need to, again, come to reality, recognize the fact you're a woman, you're always going to be a woman. There's no getting away from that, okay? You need to come to terms with that. That's what therapy is supposed to be doing, to get you to come to terms with reality. To make you comfortable within yourself, not encourage you to destroy it. Again, that's also why I think you need to change therapists, okay? Get rid of these clowns. Because the ones that aren't signed on to it are going along with it so they don't get ostracized by their colleagues. Get rid of all of them. Because they have definitely outlived their usefulness. But once you do that, then, okay, we can get back, okay, what kind of material do you want to, you can get back to working on the cosplays and what kind of characters you can do here, or what, just do regular basic, basic material, whatever. But first you got to come to terms with who and what you are. From there we can build. And until then, you're just going to be spinning your wheels and you're wondering, why am I going to work? Because you pissed off all your fans and you're putting out shit that really nobody wants. Gay men don't want to see an obvious biological female playing with a plastic dick. And yeah, I saw the pictures of the new squirty one, but it's still a plastic dick. You zoom in, you can tell you that's not real. And plus everything else doesn't match. It still screams girl. Okay? And guys don't want to see that because, the necessity of doing stuff. Man, we want to see the whole thing, the nudity of the, and you can't do that doing a boy thing because you're having to keep the binder on to hide the tits, and you're hiding it. It's like, what? There's nothing there to really get excited about. So neither side want to see this stuff. That's why none of this shit sells. And why is the girl stuff not going? Because you pissed off it and driven them away. Nobody cares anymore. So it's time to throw the brakes on here and do a real serious reevaluation of what the hell's going on here. And start, figuring out, getting back to basics, like Peterman said. Get back to basics, what works, or what's worked in the past. Now again, I don't know if there's any way to result, ideally, yeah, it would be good to get on Pornhub because that is set up for browsing. Fansly isn't. You gotta know what you're going to a specific site because, hey, I got a Fansly page. It's almost OnlyFans. It's kind of like the same way. You're going there because someone is there. You're not going there to look around and browse. You don't go on Fansly to browse. It's not set up for it. But again, between the dealings with Pornhub and Sentinel and just the other sites and the girl she got banned from Pornhub, forget it. We don't want her either. So I don't know what the hell you do from here. You're locked with whatever fan base you have left and haven't pissed off and driven away. And a lot of it is these little idiots you got surrounding yourself with. Your little group of cluster of yes men, which you said you hated on Tumblr, now you're thriving on them. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. When you finally come to terms with who and what you really are, and start to learning to appreciate that, stop hating your body for reminding you of that, then maybe there's something to build back, and get rid of these negative influences that are dragging you down in this. It is not kind to play along with somebody's delusion. It's the cruelest thing you can do, to let them wallow and get further and further into the destructive behavior. Because this is what this is. You are going down a self-destructive path here. I'm trying to get you out of it. So, with that, again, leave it to you how much actually settles and sinks in there and starts to register. And we'll talk at you later.
A sound soul dwells within a sound mind and a sound body.